Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to another video of me telling a story time, I guess you could say. But this time, it's my experience at, you see, you can say CK, you can also call it Calvin Klein, but yeah, so this is my experience with Calvin Klein. This one may be a little bit longer video than my Armani exchange video story time, and I'm gonna try to put it in detail more of what it's like working in um, retail for me anyway, because I had more experience with Calvin Klein when it comes to retail. So anyway, let's start at the beginning. I had originally put in an application for Calvin Klein, and I got a call for an interview. So I went in on Veterans Day, November 11, 2022. And this is already a red flag for me. I don't know if this is a red flag for anybody else, but for me, it was definitely a red flag. The, I guess you call it the main manager, the main store manager, general manager, the main manager, store manager for Calvin Klein. I'm just gonna call her the main store manager. Decided that it was best for her to um leave that day because he had another meeting and decided to ask one of the floor supervisors who are like managers, I guess you want to call it, to do my interview. Now, for me, I understand as main store managers, any store manager, if you have meetings you need to go to, you have to go. I get that. Don't get me wrong about that. Um, and once again, sorry for the poor quality of my camera. I'm using the webcam instead of my built-in webcam instead of my external webcam. But I get that people have meetings they have to go to. I get that a lot of times it is important that you go to these meetings. Don't get me wrong, I get that. But I thought it was uncool, unprofessional that she would up and leave, not say anything to anybody, not even me or to the other workers, that she needed to leave to go to this meeting. She didn't even say anything until I showed up and I said, "Hey, I have an interview with such and such." Um, so like I said, she didn't say anything to anybody, not even me, not even any of the managers that was on duty. So the sales floor supervisor gave me my interview, and I'm totally grateful for this guy. Because I truly believe the work that he put in for me is the reason why I got this job. Um, he was awesome. He was professional. He came from another store where he worked in, like, not in the store itself, but like in the offices of the store, and he was there like for 2 weeks with Calvin Klein as a floor supervisor. So he really gave me a good word to the main store manager, and hence the reason why I was offered the job. Now, November 11th, I was hired. Okay, keep that in mind. I was hired November 11th, and when I got that call saying that I was hired, she was like, "Well, yeah, he really gave good remarks about you. He loved you. He loved your energy. I want to bring you on. We're hiring you if you're willing to take the job." So of course I said yes. And at that time I also got hired by Armani Exchange. But if you watch my last story time, it was only for Black Friday weekend. But I wasn't told that until after I asked if it was seasonal. They said yes. But they didn't say it was Black. Okay, that's yeah. But anyway, so I kept checking, like, you're hiring me, claim I'm hired. Why aren't you guys bringing me on? Oh, we'll let you know. We'll let you know when your start date is, and da da da. 3 weeks went by. No call, no nothing. And I kept calling every week. Hey, when I'm gonna start, you guys said you're hiring me, so why aren't I being brought on? Um, and at this time I already had started Armani Exchange, and I had talked about it with my mom, just staying there until Calvin Klein brought me on, but that was before I found out it was just for Black Friday. But I kept calling. Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll give you a call. Oh, I forgot that I was supposed to call you. I was gonna call you later, but I forgot. Apparently, the main manager, the main store manager, didn't want to bring me on during Black Friday weekend before when I originally got hired because she didn't want to go through the hassle of training me when it was Black Friday weekend. Because it was already too crazy for her to deal with on Black Friday weekend. So that's the reason why she waited nearly a month to bring me on. So December 3rd, 2022, I was brought in to go over training videos for the store. And I didn't start officially until the following week, Thursday. So keep that in mind. November 11th, I was hired. My first training day wasn't until December 3rd. And at that time, I said my availability is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if you guys need help on Sundays, I'm more than willing to come in. But during the month of December, my schedule was always Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it was always closing shift. It was like 9:30. And right before Christmas, I think it was December 23rd, 24th or something. No, it was before Christmas Eve. I had 2 days that I finished at 10:30. And I had that first day, I had told the first day of the 10:30 shift, I had told this main manager that I needed to make sure I left by 10:30 because the last bus to get up where the store is at 11:18 around that time of the evening. And if I missed that bus, I would either have to stay up there overnight until the first bus came at like 5 in the morning, or walk late at night to the next bus stop to go home. And when I brought this up to her, she had her nerve to turn around and tell me, well, I guess then we have to work hard so you can go home then. Now, that may seem nothing to you, the viewer who's currently watching this, but for somebody like me who doesn't know how to drive, doesn't have a car by any means, and my mom drives, but she has no car herself, and catches the bus. To me, I found that rude. Well, I mean, to begin with, the tone that she used with me, it's like, where do you get off talking to anybody like that in that tone, regardless if I'm a new employee or I've been there for 15 years? To me, it's like, you don't take that tone with anybody, regardless of who you are. I don't care if you're the main store manager. I don't care if you're the general manager. I don't care if you're the district manager. I don't care if you're CEO of Calvin Klein. Like, where do you get off talking like that to anybody? That's just my 2 cents. For me, it's a safety issue. For somebody like me who doesn't have access to a vehicle to go home late and can't really depend on anybody to take me home at that time of the night, then, you've got to be a little bit courteous, at least something to your to your employees. Came that time and was closing, she goes, well, if you need to leave, just leave, you can go. And I of course, I left. Then there was other people there who was working. There was like 5 other people there besides me. And I'm like, you don't need 6 employees to close out the store when you already have this much people. One wouldn't make a difference if that person left. And I was able to catch the bus and come home that night. But I made a post about it on Facebook, and people did say either leave or call me and I'll give you a ride, which I truly appreciate. I don't know if it was in no, it was still December, I believe. But I found out that the district manager was coming in January. This district manager is in California. We have 2 stores. There was 2 stores of Calvin Klein here, one on Maui, and of course here the other one here in Oahu. And he was coming to check on the stores. And that night that I found out that he was coming, apparently there was a really long, you can't see it, long list, longer than this book that's in my hand, of incidences, if you want to put it that way, of things that have been happening with this main store manager. And this was filed against her with the district manager, and she still kept her job. She just got a slap on her wrist. It was, apparently, I don't know all the details about everything, but I brought up the fact that she wouldn't have let me go home at 10:30, being that it's a safety issue, and the fact that she left when she was supposed to give me the interview. So apparently she got a slap on the wrist, and I basically told the supervisor that was on the clock that night that I found out that the manager was coming, the district manager, and the other employee that, you know, what did I say? If it wasn't for that other manager, I would have probably got my job. But yeah, so I already had it like with her. It got to the point where I wanted to quit because of her. Every day when she was there, it's like that saying, walking on eggshells. It was like walking on eggshells with her. You didn't know which egg would crack, and yeah, it was just like that, walking on eggshells. And with her, everything had to be nitpicky, nitpicky. She'll find something to pick on you, and if you didn't kiss her behind, she had a problem with you because you didn't do it her way and you didn't kiss her behind. And well, if that wasn't the case, then why did I? If you guys say if that wasn't the case, if that wasn't true, then why did I see some people kissing her butt and other people who didn't like her? They'll be nice to her face, but behind her back. I had it with her. She's this, she's that. I'm tired of how she treats me. So, first January came, February. My days went from 3 to 2 to 1 day a week. And my hours from going anywhere from 5.75 hours to 6.75 hours, so where I was getting lunch breaks, went down to luckily 4 hours when I did work. My last shift was March 31st, because that was my last day, and I went down to only 4 hours. It got to the point where I'm like, why am I even here? It's not worth it being at a job where I'm making $12 an hour for 4 hours. And it was just, come to find out, I wasn't the only one who their days got cut. And even our new hirees that came on were complaining about their hours. It's like wasn't happy with the hours either. They were even saying, I need to find something else. I know of people who had went for 4 to 5 days, 2 to 3 days in no time. And to the point where everything now, because everything is going up, we had to move, people had to move. And yeah, it was just ridiculous. People like their job, they enjoy their job, but the pay and the days wasn't the greatest. And there was no reason as to why our days and hours ended up like that. It just happened that way. And one time I did ask about when I'll be trained as cashier. I started in December, okay, people. It wasn't until March she started scheduling me for training on the register. She claimed that there was never a good day to start training me. When other people that was coming around on the same time as me or before me was already getting trained on the register. But with me, it was never a good day to train me on the register. She could never find the perfect day. So 4 hours, luckily, or 5.75 hours. And the days that before my last day, the days that I did work, it was so incredibly slow. Incredibly slow. I cannot emphasize that enough. I know one day when I was working before my last day, it was in the negatives. The sales rate and everything, the conversions, the sales, everything was in the negatives big time. It was really bad. Calvin Klein was just slow. It was, like I said, it was super bad. It was crazy to say the least on how slow it was, to the point where half the time we were just standing in front of the cash register, just talking story, just talking to each other, joking around, whatever. It was that bad. Even that one day, like I said, it was just in the negatives. Um, so before I did leave, I wanted $25 gift card to Calvin Klein. I mean, like, I can buy clothes with a gift card. Saves me my own money compared to having the money from the store, right? Then the last day I was there, the 31st, I apparently won a $5 gift card to Starbucks. Now, $5 is $5. Everybody knows how ridiculous Starbucks is in terms of cost. But did I get my card? No. So I have to look for it. So where's my card? I mean, yeah, I was leaving, but at the same time, it's like, so it's like, where's my gift card? So I didn't get that. I didn't get a gift card or anything like that. Um, like I said, $5, $5. If I want something for doing my job, you should be giving it to customers. You know what I mean? But the last day there, it's like the only one person was trying to get me to stay. The rest was like, bye, it was nice working with you. Oh, you'll be back. I'm like, it's not worth it at Calvin Klein. $12 an hour. I don't have the app with me on my phone, but I have evidence of my checks being $43, $60, $19, $54. It's like, I can't make a living like that. I can't pay my bills. I can't pay my rent. Getting $43 just for a paycheck, and you expect me to buy clothes for me to work here and pay my bills, pay my rent, pay everything, and to have extra. I mean, granted, it was a weekly pay, but it wasn't worth it. The pay wasn't worth it. I mean, I can say for March, I made like 300 something. It was almost $400. I'm like, give or take. I'm like, and you expect me to pay rent with this kind of money, making less $12 an hour for 4 hours or 5 hours? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm making a killing. You're like, how can you cannot make a living like that. Um, So yeah, it just every day there was just particularly kind of like walking on eggshells. My anxiety was always getting to me every time I would go into work. It's like my stomach was in knots. Um, and I was only really happy when I left at the end of my shift. There was another manager, she was nice, but she really pushed it, keeping people overtime like an hour back, just to make sure every little nick and cranny was straightened up and looked perfect. Which I'm like, sister, I have to catch the bus. My shift ended an hour ago. I mean, you paying me for the extra hour, but still, like, I need to go. I'm done. I could have walked off, but anyway, so my anxiety was crazy. Um, I was miserable at the end of the day, and I was tired. I was sore. Um, because of my back injury that I had in 2017, my muscles aren't doing as great as it should be, so it affects everything in my body. So standing on my feet for that long really affects my muscles. Um, doesn't sound as bad if you don't live in it, but it wasn't great. So I'm gonna make a part two of my retail experience, my whole view on my whole intake of retail. I'm just gonna make this video about my whole Calvin Klein experience. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.